Welcome to another episode of Time Extend. Wow, it's been a while. My name is Adam Ismail, and joining me today is the whole crew. We got Andrew Elmore, we got Brendan Rorson,
Hello.
we got Paul Lavelle.
Hello.
Everybody's here. We haven't done this in a while. I think at the time we're recording, it's been like 9 months since the last episode. So we miss doing the show. We miss talking about racing games and all kinds of random nonsense. So we're back.
We miss you at home, dear listener.
Yeah.
Yes.
We miss a lot of things. But how's everybody doing? I mean, it's funny because today we're going to be talking about the Excite universe of Nintendo games, all of their exciting games. I think Paul probably brought this episode up, like, I don't know at this point, who knows, a year and a half ago, and we're finally doing it. So
Yep, that's right.
Here we are. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems apt to talk about it as well, purely because another very strange Nintendo racing game came out this month recently.
Oh my god.
Literally today.
Yeah.
When we're recording. And the Excite games have all been pretty strange in their own right. Like, obviously, Excitebike and stuff, fairly kind of standard, but the Wii era games especially are pretty random, especially Excitebots, which is the one that I'm sure you guys won't be too surprised to hear is the one I'll be jazzed to talk about the most. Since it didn't even come out in the UK, I played that a lot later.
Oh, thank God I'm not the only one. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Excitebots
Andrew had the look of abject horror in his eyes when I told him I didn't play Excitebots before we started recording.
Nightmare.
Did you play it on like original hardware or Wii U, or did you emulate?
Emulate, because it didn't get released in the UK. So,
yeah, it's true.
Yeah, that was the only way to play it, sadly.
I didn't even bother with it because it seemed too hard, because it has like so many weird motion controls, right? So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it does. It does. Thankfully, I got some original hardware kicking around to kind of use on the PC and stuff, and that worked pretty well.
Andrew's judging me, and that's totally fine. That's totally fine.
I'm not judging you. I was just like, oh, I didn't expect to have to be the only person to cover this one, all right?
I focused my energy with the games that I was most familiar with because, frankly, I don't like learning about Nintendo things. No, it's just that like I was excited to do this because you guys were into it, but I had to relearn why I liked Excite Trucks, for example, because like I played that game when it came out and I loved it, and it was probably, looking back, the only thing that I really loved on that system, except for I guess Smash.
Wow.
So I had a good time revisiting that. Had a more interesting time revisiting Excitebike 64, which is, I think, going to be like a really interesting one to talk about. But I mean, I guess we should just start where it all began. Who played the NES games?
Yeah,
Me.
I mean, what, now or then? I mean, then, see, I don't know what it was like for you guys in the US, but an NES was super luxury item in the UK when they were around. And like, as you know, the 8-bit computers, Amstrad, Commodore, Spectrum were what we had here. They were the educational things, but they played video games that were £3 made by Codemasters from a newsagents where you buy your magazines from. And it was incredible. So having NES, I knew 2 people at school who had one, and they both pretty well off parents. It was just one of those things. So it wasn't, I never had a Nintendo until the Super Nintendo. So yeah, Excitebike. I think the first time I actually properly played it was when it was released on the DS, 3DS. What was it released on a Virtual Console?
3DS. No, to be fair, maybe it was available on the DS.
Oh, and Game Boy Advance, right? They've released it. I've got a Game Boy Advance cartridge from many years ago. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they did.
I never played it on original hardware, but yeah.
Was that one of the e-reader games?
It was an e-reader game. Maybe that was it. An Animal Crossing? Am I making this up? I mean, my memory of there is vague, but
It might be. It's definitely small enough to be.
Yeah.
Like it's a very early.
Yeah.
I just have this very visceral memory of like watching cartoons or something as a kid, and then they're advertising the e-reader and thinking like, why? Like even as a child, I'm like, there's a lot of cards. I mean, it's hard enough to like fumble through like the bag to find like my cartridges when I'm in the car. Now I got to get like 6 trading cards or something to
That's
play
right.
one game.
And a
It
massive
was
clumsy
madness.
thing which plunks, which was like 3 times the
exactly.
size of the.
Weighs more than the rest of the GBA. Yeah, I knew just barely enough about computers as a kid to like look at the little dots on those little like scan strips and be like, that looks like the old punch cards from like the old mainframe computers in the 60s or whatever. Like, it feels like I'm watching the beginning of Willy Wonka. But it had to have been at least one of the ones that would have been able to run off those cards, though, because the actual file is very small. It's so I've got the Famicom cart here, and it's 84, so it's very, very early. I really like the label
great.
on here as well.
Yeah.
But it's before they started doing like adding mapper chips and beefing up the Famicom's hardware by putting more stuff in the game cartridges themselves. My old NES version is an old 5-screw black box from the early days of the old like chip shortages and stuff as well. Obviously, I was not alive at the time, but I've had this forever. I think most of my time spent playing NES Excitebike, though, was playing a port that someone made for Texas Instruments graphing calculators.
Oh, hell yeah.
I had a TI-89 titanium because I saved up a little too much with my lawn mowing money back in the day, because I wanted a graphing calculator that I could put a bunch of preset like formulas and little like scripts into, which is how I cheated my way through organic chemistry class. So
Nice.
the other the downside is that I ended up failing, almost failing geometry, because I kept spending a lot of time in various math classes with this calculator sitting in the back playing either Excitebike, Super Mario Land, Block Dude, or the Game Boy, a black and white conversion of the Game Boy Color port of Grand Theft Auto 1.
Oh my god.
Wow.
So it had the like you could build a track in Excitebike and save it to local memory and everything. It was all in there.
That's so cool. I knew kids were playing games on their graphing calculators, but I never tried to do it myself. And I never thought that you could like those games. I thought they were just like, oh, somebody made like
or Snake
Breakout
or something, yeah. Like a Nokia.
Yeah. Eventually, people just started getting really weird with it.
That's
that was
amazing.
probably like 2007.
Doom has to
or
run on it,
something.
right?
I have
Surely.
no idea what. There was, like something equivalent to like a Faceball 2000 sort of thing on there, but I don't think Doom is. I think that might be a little bit too much horsepower needed there. Oddly enough, despite the fact that you can run Doom on a pregnancy test now. But
Yeah,
whatever.
I think that's the most ridiculous platform, if you can call it that I've seen. Yeah, so it was actually released on the e-reader. It was part of the NES Series 2 pack in America. And those were $5 a game, which I would pay on a better medium. Like if it was on a better sort of physical item, then I might.
Yeah, it would have cost them more than $5 to produce the cartridge for the GBA ROM, right?
That's
like
the problem.
It wouldn't have been able to have gotten that. Did it ship on a
It
GBA
did.
cartridge as well, or was
they
it
did
just
a few of them,
the...
didn't they?
Okay,
Icarus
good,
and
good.
Excitebike. I had imported GBA games, but I think they did a whole bunch of them, but I only bought a couple of them.
Yeah, I know they did Zelda and a few
Yeah.
others as well. I remember they have kind of an odd sort of screen resolution shift that they had to do to fit them on there, but as far as I know, they should be fine.
Mhm.
Yeah, I played the first one, the original one on NES Classics or what? No, it wasn't. Shit, it wasn't on the Switch. It was actually the port through Excitebike 64 because I was like, this is here, and I'm already playing Excitebike 64, so fuck it, I'm gonna do that.
Fair enough.
And it was fine. I was reading that like that was just something like one of the programmers was just like, yeah, I've been working on this like NES emulator in my spare time, so what the hell, just use it for this.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I mean, that wasn't normal back then. Like
No.
even then to have ports of games like that started to become normal with like the next generation into like obviously like the GameCube days and stuff like that. But back then that was really novel. Even though it's not a game that I would have liked as a kid because it was a little too like old for me. I remember thinking that was cool. Like, wow, the original Excitebike. I don't know. Never actually unlocked it because I wasn't good at Excitebike 64.
No,
but
no,
that's a whole
no one's good at that.
different
We'll talk about that soon.
So is like Excitebike then? Does anyone have like really strong feelings about this being a very, I don't know, important, formative, fun NES game? Where do we stand on that? Is it fine?
I like it.
Okay.
I
think
like it.
it's fine. Yeah, it kind of fits in line with the other NES sports games, creatively named, like
Golf.
soccer, ice hockey, and at least they added Excite, golf.
Yes, we respect the work of Satoru Iwata, damn it. Programming all of those one-word games.
I mean, that's the thing,
black box.
simplicity is beautiful. Like, at the end of the day, that's what the game is, so... But yeah, I mean, the thing is, I played through it on the 3DS version.
That's good.
Which is a fantastic kind of just of many very old arcade games that got really good ports on the 3DS. Like the Excitebike one is really good as well, and it's a good showcase of the 3D capabilities of that screen and stuff. Which is obviously cheating because it isn't the way you played it on the NES and stuff
it was
back
cool.
in the day. But it was fine. It was fine. I also played it on NES Remix. I was trying to do that thing where I'm like, where are the weirdest places that I can play Excitebike like for this podcast? And I got the Wii U out and played NES Remix just to remind myself how they kind of integrated into that as well. And it's pretty fun in the right scenarios. I think the original game is a bit kind of vanilla and basic, but it was interesting how it got remixed in that game, for example. And you can see that the gameplay is pretty fun for especially given how limited the hardware and such was at the time.
I think I have a fondness for some of Nintendo's early arcade era stuff when they were making more simplistic, punch out, radar scope, Donkey Kong, all that sort of thing. And this is very much in that vein as well. Whereas something like, like golf, for example, some of the other like Famicom Pulse Kart series stuff that Iwata was programming make a lot of sense on a home console. I think Excitebike, while it does, it also, I think, makes perfect sense as an arcade game. And even if it's not as a literal cabinet, it's certainly an arcade game in spirit. And I think being able to build a track out of the little component pieces that they gave you is kind of neat and interesting because it feels like you're playing with the same tools that the development team is in a way, because you're working with the exact same pieces. It's not like the early Tony Hawk games where the course creators don't have access to anywhere near the amount of like art assets and stuff that are in the regular levels that were actually built, by Neversoft, what have you. That said, I don't think that there's really anything you can do necessarily to arrange those pieces to make something particularly interesting. You're kind of just still playing Excitebike. And like, that's fine. I enjoy the act of, moving lanes up and down to hit the little boost pads and dodge the little like mud puddles. And I like angling back and forth to get the little like jumps and landing and all that stuff. Like being careful about your positioning in a Trials-esque kind of way is fun. I like that stuff. I like the very like a simple snacky nature of Excitebike is neat to me, but it is neat for about 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's pretty simplistic, but like you're saying, getting the boost right on the ramp, I think the annual angle, it's still really
good.
satisfying mechanic. Even now, but like you say, it is very simple, but it's cool. And the one I've not ever played before until the Switch 2, in fact, the Switch, was the Famicom disc version, the Versus, which has split screen. That's cool. I mean, it's two people can play at the same time.
And you could save your tracks on there,
and you can save the tracks. Yeah,
unlike this normal 84 cart.
Yeah, I feel like the addition of a second player really could make this game fun. Like then I can imagine like, okay, I could actually have some fun with this as a kid. But yeah, otherwise it was pretty simple. Although very important ultimately, because this was where Shigeru Miyamoto developed like kind of the scrolling technology, right? To like use like that enabled things like Mario and everything that would come later on the system. So
right. Yeah.
Pretty influential in that sense. And clearly
Mario was 85. I didn't think about that for a second.
Yeah. So this was 84 and then that was 85. But then, like, it's just weird, so weird to me looking back that there was such a gap between this and I find it funny, and this is something I'm going to come back to later, but the idea of an Excite franchise, like that, that's how it's referred to. But yeah, the 15, 16 years between this original release and then the next game in the quote unquote series is, well, I'm just surprised it never got revisited in the SNES years or anything like that.
It is weird. I guess Nintendo can't like that. And I was thinking about this unrelated to Excitebike was Metroid, because obviously we've got a new Metroid coming soon for Switch 2 or Switch. But the N64 never had a Metroid game. Yeah. So it was a Super Metroid, amazing, and then you had the whole of Nintendo 64, and then a couple of years into GameCube, you got Metroid Prime.
Yeah.
I guess it was a Game Boy Advance game around that period.
That's
but
true, yeah.
But N64 never got a Metroid game. And I don't think it got... but then GameCube never got a Kirby platformer, I don't think, but it got the racing game. So, Nintendo are weird with their franchises, aren't they, sometimes, of... Hey, maybe one day we'll get a new Wave Race.
New Wave Race,
treasure and give me a new Wario World, damn it.
A new F-Zero. Right. It's nice that it seems like nothing's ever truly well and dead at Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Like, hell, we're getting a new freaking Kirby Air Riders. I mean, that's... If that can live, then anything can come back from the dead. I think it's fair to say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think like there's a weird rule Nintendo seem to kind of apply or roll out when it suits them about we'll not make a game in a series if there isn't a genuine reason to, or a gimmick or that sort of thing, because obviously whenever F-Zero comes up, that's the line that kind of gets told out. Like Miyamoto will say, oh, when we feel that we can do the franchise justice, whatever, then there'll be a new one. But at the same time, it does feel as if sometimes they just go into the archives and go, why not give it a go? Because obviously Excite Truck and Excite Bots on the Wii, but also Punch Out was revived on the Wii as well, and it was another fantastic game. So anytime these franchises do return, they tend to actually put a good spin on them. That's the positive. But if you're a very particular fan of these series, then it can be painful, and I know that as a massive Elite Beat Agents fan who's still praying that one day that will return.
1 down 3 any day now.
Exactly.
There was one game on. There's this super. I think it was Stunt Race FX. That's what it's called, right? I was thinking about this the other day, going, I wonder if that could have ever been called Excite. Like it's not far off that sort of game. It is more racing and not jumping and stuff, but it's like, so that was the closest, I suppose, and not a great game, but maybe that's why they didn't name it that. I don't know.
Yeah, it's that from that era of all the extra chips and stuff to get very rudimentary 3D at a very low frame rate, and I obviously can't speak to how any of those felt at the time, but like Paul, was it like, wow, this is so impressive that I'm willing to overlook the fact that this is really slow, or was it just...
It was. I mean, Star Fox on the Super Nintendo.
Right.
Or Star Wing, it was called here. I've played the fucking shit out of that game and still love it today. I think it's great. It's so...
same.
And it is a terrible frame rate, but it's one of those games that you just go, but it plays fine.
Yeah.
Weirdly, and it's all amazing. But it's like Stunt Race FX,
There
I
is
remember,
like
in fact, finishing it up and then taking it back to shop and getting Donkey Kong Country because I think they'd come out in similar time. I just replaced.
Nice.
There was a time we could just refund it. Games.
I had played Stunt Race FX. Is that in Rare Replay, or
I don't know.
Something else? I
think it is actually.
Okay, because I definitely played it a long time ago, and by long I only mean like within the last 10 years. And I remember being like, yeah, this is very floaty and slow, but like, well, it was designed to be as good as it could possibly be, despite being floaty and slow. So it was still playable, but it's interesting to talk about how these games end up with their titles and what they could have been as we get to Excitebike 64. Because if I can jump ahead to that, I don't know if anyone still has any burning things to say about the original Excitebike. We good?
Yeah,
good.
All right. I figured
I have
it
a
would
fondness
be short.
for it. It's there's not a whole lot to dig into. It's there.
It's there. So something that I found really interesting about 64, doing a little bit of research on it, because this was a game that I really struggled to find any information about, like Truck, for example. But like 64, I think there are a lot of people that actually really, really like this game, like more than I actually realized. And the creators, the company that worked on it, the developer was Left Field Productions, which is based in California. They had like kind of like a second party relationship with Nintendo for a number of years. They did like the NBA courtside games, and obviously they did this, and they were kind of just going after like sort of like trying to capitalize on this big like extreme sports thing, which of course in like the late 90s and 2000 was like everybody was doing that. And they developed this like they were inspired by Wave Race to develop this like kind of, you know, sophisticated physics system with the inverse kinematics and everything. And as they were working on it, it seems like at some point somebody at Left Field or, you know, Nintendo of America or whatever was like, what if this was Excitebike? Like, what if we could kind of pitch this as like an Excitebike game? And according to Michael Lamb, who was like one of the like execs at Left Field and like producer of the game and everything, it was like a fight with Nintendo, like difficult to the politics with Nintendo of Japan to kind of get cleared to use the Excitebike name. Like they weren't just going to hand that out to anyone. And apparently when that happened, you know, at that point it kind of gets Miyamoto's attention. Obviously he's working with a number of developers on a number of projects trying to make everything as good as it can be. But at that point he kind of saw what they were working on and he was like, this is a little too hardcore. Like, if we're gonna call this Excitebike and this is gonna be like on the N64, like it needs to be a little bit more of an arcade game, because apparently they had developed like a pretty punishing like physics system, and so out of that they kind of started to make it a little bit more playable and walk it back. And overall it was like a year into development that it became Excitebike, and then another year until it came out in 2000. So really interesting path that this game took from like conception to completion.
Interesting.
Lineage-wise, it feels very similar to Wave Race 64 in the sense that, like, obviously you had Kawasaki and stuff in Wave Race, and then in this game as well, you had the kind of official bike gear and that sort of thing, and it to a certain extent as well. Like, it definitely feels like you can see similarities there in terms of like the vibes of the game and stuff to a certain extent, and yeah, it definitely feels incredibly different to the original Excitebike, just in terms of the actual style of the game, really, more than anything. Obviously, it's very different being a 3D game and such, but just generally, it's not what you would have expected an Excitebike 64 to look like, really.
Yeah, no, there's no lane switching or anything like that. The only stuff is the boost on jumps and I guess peril on the track, I guess, is the only two things. It's interesting, Adam, that you say about that they dialed back the difficulty, because fuck me, this game is hard, man. Dude. Like it's incredibly difficult. Considering like most of the Nintendo stuff is all about typically easy to get into, and then but to master them, that it's classic video game design, right? But like Wave Race was like that, Mario Kart's like that. I guess F-Zero wasn't really, but this is so hard.
Yeah.
Such a hard game.
I would say, by the way, so Paul just held up the Japanese copy, which that art is
much
awesome.
cooler Japanese copy.
Yeah.
It's cool,
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Looks really nice. Andrew's got the American one there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I do definitely think this game shares a kinship with Wave Race in like the sort of more physical. I mean, you know, Nintendo isn't just making a game with cars, they're making games where the rider has sort of a momentum and like an impact on the way the vehicle steers. And these, like, Wave Race obviously is like the cream of the crop. Like, no one ever did it better. Still feels today, even though I'm sure someone could, no one has. Like, that game feels perfect. Excitebike 64 gets like 70% of the way there. I think the main difference, because Wave Race can be very hard, but the thing about Wave Race is like I never feel like I failed or I hit a wall because of the physics. Like I feel like if I just practice and it's all I do, like I could probably maybe get there. Whereas Excitebike 64, I think when you start getting legitimately fast at it, you start kind of meeting these like weird quirks and things where the physics kind of bug out. I got into so many cases because I finally like mastered something I could never do as a kid. But when you like go into a 90-degree corner and you hit the right shoulder button to kind of like do that lean, which kind of brings you into a drift. But then I'm also like sort of like holding down the brake so I can slow down as I do it and rocketing out with the boost. Like I was pulling these drifts and I was getting really fast. But then I was getting to this point where like I was trying to correct the slide, just try to even myself out as I come out of the drift. And getting into these weird tank slappers where then all of a sudden I'm facing in the air direction. I like jackknife, like I'm trying to turn left and I go right. I hit a wall. I'm like glued to the wall. And like maybe because Wave Race is like you have almost nothing to hit, you don't end up in those situations. But I found myself in Excitebike 64, right when I was starting to feel good about getting a handle on it, I was getting really pissed off.
Yeah. There's a lot more room for error on Wave Race because the worst you can do is lose your power from missing a buoy.
Yeah.
Right. But there's a lot of drifting and stuff. Effectively, you can slide around over the waves, whereas the tracks are quite narrow in Excitebike. Thinking back at other games like Pure, which was obviously quad bikes, played much more like I'd like this to play almost.
Oh, interesting.
Where you can slide, which is the PS3 360 game made by Climax, right, in the UK. It was really cool. That was it's so hard.
They were apparently talking about like earlier in development when it was more of a sim. They like were trying to do kind of like a MotorStorm or Sega Rally Revo like thing with the ruts on like the terrain.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I do think that would have, with this physics system, and especially if it's less forgiving, that would have made the game even potentially more frustrating. But yeah, they were doing a lot. I mean, when you get to this era of like late N64, and this was 2000 in America and Japan, and then in Europe, it didn't land until like 2001, like
that's right,
a couple of months before
GameCube.
Yeah.
Yeah, because GameCube was 202 here.
Oh, 2002. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like a really late release, but like towards the end of the N64's life, I mean, I'll say like the game, it runs really well. It looks great. I mean, I had the expansion pack, and I think apparently it doesn't really tap the expansion pack unless you go into that high res mode, was what I was reading.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, with or without it, I mean, it looks really good, and looks good on like the emulator on the Switch as well. So like it's not one of those N64 games you go back to and you're just like, oh god, this is like a smeary mess.
Yeah.
So like technologically it's on point. And that's the thing, like it was in development for a reasonably long time for a game of this period, but it seems like, I don't know, like it kind of maybe sort of changed direction a little bit in the middle there, and then they put in all these extra modes, which like some of them are pretty like impressive, like the desert one, and we can go into those. Like it's really interesting what they did here.
Yeah.
But also I was reading apparently after the fact, after development, Michael Lamb, who I was talking about earlier, he said that one of Miyamoto's criticisms was that they should have just focused on the game instead of doing all the other modes, which feels like something that he would say. But
it does.
Yeah. So this game, basically, like if you've never played Excitebike 64 before, it's pretty much standard. Like there's like 4 or 5 races in the championship, and it does the championship tally. You pick between your 6 different riders, because every Nintendo game at this time, they have to have like the people with actual names, like 1080 and these fictional characters that don't exist.
Yeah, they're not
like extreme sports
they're not
stars.
pros that they're licensed or whatever. It's
right.
Jumpin' Jim Rivers.
Yeah, everybody's got a nickname. I found that I was the one I gravitated towards, because they all have different skill sets, of course, but I did the Vicky Vixen Steel. So that's a name.
Sugar Hill.
Yeah,
they're all just
I pointed out, I was like, yeah, it's it's very much of the time because all of the men have these like cool and like hardcore names, and then the women are just Sugar and Vixen. So that really dates a game in a way
Classic.
Nintendo probably wouldn't do today.
But
yeah.
I like
I
the
don't know.
commentary, though.
No,
Maybe only Nintendo would do that today.
possibly. Yeah, the commentary is cool.
Mhm.
I was trying to find the name of the commentator, the announcer, but I wasn't able to. But I mean, he sounds good, especially for
Oh, it's
This
DJ
is-
Atomica, I think is his name.
DJ Atomica. Okay,
Come on,
crossover.
illegal.
Yeah,
But, I don't know. I guess it's weird. N64, whenever I hear speech, is like, that's fucking cool because it's on the chip. I don't know.
yeah, because it's like the one thing that you expect to either be bad or not hear, and that's something that
Right.
even like we'll talk about later. But as I was playing Excitebike, I was like, wow, this game is great. It's so crazy that there's no announcer in it because it's exactly the
Yeah.
kind of arcade racing game that you would expect
Yeah.
to have an announcer, and it's just silence.
I feel like that's what makes it not a first party thing in a weird way. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Does ARMS have an announcer? That's basically Punch Out now. Did anyone? What am I talking
Did
about?
anyone play
ARMS.
ARMS? I don't know if anyone played ARMS.
Hey, ARMS, unsurprisingly, is like one of my favourite Switch
Anyway,
games.
so no one has ever played ARMS, so there's no way to know. But
I could do a full podcast on ARMS and how it was tragically treated.
Hey man, this is
I'm sick of talking about weird
this is the
games.
time. No, this is the time to do it. We're branching outside the racing games.
Get ARMS extends
exactly.
accordingly.
Yeah, the arms will be
Oh,
extended.
come on.
Yeah, it's a very strange way like Nintendo has kind of like sort of kept their various like racing and extreme sports adjacent franchises like at arm's length for a long time, where they'll just kind of like dabble in it a little bit if they can get someone else to do the actual developing, etc. And it almost like
Yeah.
I think my I don't want to say big problem with Excitebike 64 because it's not a problem. I just like the reason I kind of ignored it mostly for years and years is A, because there's just not really a lot of meat on that bone, and B, because I didn't know what made it excite, like
So,
not like
yes.
exciting. I mean, like literally, like what what you were just talking about with the reason that they put the name on the end. It almost feels like the way
Yeah.
that anecdotally at least, or apocryphally, the story of Miyamoto coming in and looking at Dinosaur Planet and be like, this should be a Star Fox. You should put a little Fox McCloud in there, or whatever. It's like this kind of just seems like a late '90s, like dirt bike game.
I actually read like an IGN interview with Miyamoto, and it was in like 99 or 2000 or something like that, and he said, like, I guess that was the same E3 or the same event where they showed off Dinosaur Planet. And in the interview, they ask him a bunch of questions, not just about Excitebike, but all these other games. And he's like, yeah, Dinosaur Planet looks great. I should go and have a talk with them and ask them if they could make it a Star Fox game. Like, he literally says that in the interview, which I don't know if at that point, if at that point he had already done it and he was just trying to, like, if I say it on record, then it has to happen. But yeah,
no idea.
I mean, look, it is an exciting bike. I think we can all agree with that. It's
the bike does excite.
Yeah, the bike brings it.
Yeah.
It brings the excitement. Something I was thinking about a lot is what makes an Excite game. Like what is it? What are like the things if you had to pick a few attributes that like carry over through all of these games, I narrowed it down to like the big air. There's always big jumps.
Yeah.
There is a boost mechanic, but specifically the boost mechanic is like tied to the temperature of your vehicle.
Yeah, it's riding the turbo
Yeah.
to keep your engine temp under control.
Yeah.
Right. It's those two things, and I don't know if I identify the third thing. Looking
The
through
only
my
thing
notes.
is maybe the track stuff, like the peril on the track, like to avoid. But I'm trying to think if Truck had much of that.
I don't think you can make your own
Maybe not.
tracks and
Yeah,
courses in
you
the
can't do
Wii
that.
games either.
No.
So it's just the other
But
two.
it's the boosting over the ramp, right? The angles of the vehicle as well.
Yeah. So it really
Yeah, angles of
is.
Yeah, the angling,
very true.
that's a good
Which is
point.
cool.
It really is like the big air and the boosting, and then also the overheating, which I don't know. I think that's funny.
Yeah.
Because like this boost mechanic, that is here in 64 and like carries through and obviously goes to the Wii games as well. Like the only other game I can think of that does that is MotorStorm,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which I didn't even realize until you pointed out the other day, Paul. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
And it's funny because like I never, even though this game and MotorStorm came out basically at the same time,
They did. Shit, yeah.
I never put two and two together that like they're like MotorStorm is like kind of like a hardcore like next gen Excite truck. Like it's weird that like you have almost like the you know, not in too much of a derogatory sense, but the kiddie version of that is this game, is Excite Truck. But they don't like.
I'd actually wrote down that exact like comparison as well, so it's pretty funny.
They don't necessarily like, they don't play like each other, and
No.
I guess we're talking about Excite Truck now. Should we? Is there anything else we need to say about 64?
I just want to say
through it.
Excitebike 64 is the original Rocket League, because there's a
Soccer,
2v2
yes.
Oh, that's
mode,
right.
soccer mode. So, and it's hilarious because it's so difficult to play.
Yeah.
But I just want to throw it out there. That was the start of it all.
Yeah, we should probably
Before
touch on the
talking
bonus
about-
modes. In
We
there.
should, yeah. I forgot about that. Yeah,
okay.
I wanted to do the soccer mode, but I had nobody to play it with. So and it's only, you can only do it in split screen. You can't do it alone, which I think is
Well, we
sad.
can talk about the multiplayer, how our experiences from last
jeez,
weekend.
yeah.
Oh my god, that's
A
right.
bit.
That's
Yeah, we tried
right.
to. So there are a couple extra modes on here. This cart, whoever owned it last, unlocked most of them. One of them is just like Excitebike 3D, I think is what they called it, but it's just
Yes.
you can play the original NES straight line track, but it's in the engine of Excitebike 64, so you're riding a motorbike around in 3D. Normal behind the back camera, it's just the course is a big straight line made of ramps and boost pads and mud puddles and so on.
That was the one thing
desert?
I couldn't unlock so far, because it seems like you get the other ones pretty early in the game. Like you complete championships and you get them, but I didn't have the 3D one yet. So
Like the desert, it's just kind of an open area with it's a point-to-point rally. So just you'll reach a little like a campfire with a smokestack, and you tap it, and another one will appear somewhere, and you drive over to that one. But it's all it's a big open area made of a bunch of little hills, so everyone's flying around and crashing into each other. A lot of garage shading around the vertices of the environment. Looks very silly and unfinished.
they're they're randomly generated. So I mean
that would explain it. Okay.
The like fractals of the overall map, like those are made and defined, but then how the game stitches them together is completely random. And then you drive to these campfires. It ends up playing like a big open midnight club, because you go to like one of them, and then you might have to turn around. There's like an arrow you follow, but the game's AI is not very good at navigating those situations. So what tends to happen is like they might get really far in front of you, but then once you get to a campfire, if they have to turn back the other way or something, they'll just like keep missing the campfire and en route to like the next thing, and also hitting each other. And so it ends up actually being pretty easy at the end of the day. Yeah.
The hill climb was a fun fight with a physics engine.
Oh,
I don't know if you unlocked that one at all.
No, I didn't have that one either. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the hill climb is it's climbing a hill, but it's a very steep hill, and it's very, very bumpy. And if you fall off the bike, you start over at the bottom again. So it's it's less a race and more just, can you get to the top at all? It's a little Bennett Foddy-esque.
Yeah, that's one issue I really have with this game, and with not just this game, but just motocross games in general. There is no worse feeling to me than like getting sort of the wrong angle off a jump to the point where you're not landing on like a downslope, you're landing on like the upslope of another jump, and then you have no momentum. And when that happens in this game, I hate it. It just feels so bad because it never happened to the AI. The AI just sail. Right. They hit exactly every single ramp or the bottom portion of a ramp that they need to. Like, they're fine, but I always do that. So, yeah, and then how was the soccer?
That I don't know.
It's good. Yeah. It's I had some friends over and made them play it just because I emulated this on the Wii U as well.
Oh, great!
Well, not emulated, but I had the Virtual Console version. So keeping in with the theme of trying to play it in the weirdest places. So we had a few beers out, tried playing it, and it was as much of a challenge to try and hit the ball as it was to actually score a goal, as you can imagine. But it was still a good bit of fun, and I've always got time for those kind of soccer football modes and car games, like, just because it's always a good laugh. And in this case, I know it's a bike, not a car, but it was still good fun.
I would have loved to play it, but
we can try it. It can be arranged.
Yeah, so
we can try it.
All right,
it's on the Switch.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So Andrew, Paul, and I tried to play some 64 on NSO the other day, and
boy, did we.
So I think none of us seem to realize that the way that it works is that, and I guess if I spent any time thinking about it beforehand, I would have realized this, but you're playing a game that was designed to be split screen. So what's effectively happening is the host is streaming that game to every other player. And something that was interesting is that, like, the video quality actually looked perfectly fine. The audio was completely mangled, and the inputs were so delayed. And on top of that,
so bad.
On top of that, this game, when you run it in 4-player mode, as you keep adding the players, like, the frame rate gets unbearable. The character models and the bikes and everything, it starts to look like probably like Star Fox. It's bad. Yeah. So
GoldenEye.
Yeah, I think with the two of us, Paul, it was fairly okay, but then once Andrew came in there, it was like, holy shit.
Shit bad.
Looking at over a second of latency is just not it's not doable.
Yikes.
But it'd be interesting to see what that's like locally on an N64 or Switch. But it was when it was the realization it was streaming my screen was when I went back. Yeah. I went back to pick F-Zero, and you could see it. It's like, hold on a minute, this is streaming my Nintendo Switch screen to everyone else.
Yeah.
Which is quite an interesting way of doing it. I guess that's the only way they could do it, right? Unless they re-engineered every game, which is not going to do. That's crazy.
Yeah, and I guess it would be simple enough for the the NES games and maybe the SNES games too. But and F-Zero felt pretty okay, but I think F-Zero also benefits from being 60 FPS and
being
all
60.
That, so,
Yeah.
So, because for a long time I've been thinking, like, it'd be cool to play. There's so many great games on the Virtual Console on the Switch or whatever. I should find people to play them with, and then I'm like, never mind.
Not good.
That's 64. We move on 6 years to Excitebike, and Excitebike 64. I got when it came out, actually. And Excite Truck I also got as one of... I'm thinking... I guess it's the only launch game I got with my Wii. It was this, because I got the Wii for Christmas, and it was this and Wii Sports as the pack-in. So I spent...
Did you get Zelda?
No, because I never... When I was a kid, I was stupid, and I didn't know how to play Zelda or care. So, I got the one card game. I actually rented... Why are you...
You would have been a teenager.
What? We were 13? 12 or 13?
13, 14, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
06, 07, depending on...
I didn't care. The first Zelda game I ever really played was Breath of the Wild.
13, 14 is the perfect time to get into Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Well, I'll tell you what I also played. At some point, we rented GT Pro Series, which is GT Cube, and that game sucks.
Yes, it does.
But...
Did you... Yeah. I was just looking at this. Look, this is the Wii...
Project Hammer!
Came with it. Project Hammer.
Project Hammer!
Did that one happen or not happen?
No!
It
happened in my heart.
Okay.
And my unused Nintendo Club Nintendo. Look, it could still be scratched off.
Amazing.
Nice.
From the PAL version, yeah.
Yeah.
The PAL cover, is it different to the US cover? Or is it the same?
I think it's
a little bit.
same.
I think so.
Yeah.
No, that's the same.
Yeah, it's got that thing that looks more like it's like a Chevy Silverado mostly. So what I love about the trucks in this game is they all look very bland and very boring.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's like
the ball. There we go. Like you see, I'll hold it. My MacBook.
No, it's fine. I can
old
see.
shit,
Yeah,
but...
yeah. You got the Boulder, the Firefly, and the Wolf. Those are like the three main
Boulder.
ones.
Truck, dune buggy, and a Jeep.
Yeah,
man.
And there's more.
The names are cool.
But
yeah,
I really like this game. It is kind of impressive how
So good.
much of an afterthought it feels like it was. Not by the people making it, but by Nintendo, and it just doesn't feel like maybe they had a lot of time to put it together because Monster Games was working on it. They famously now are under the iRacing umbrella, making the NASCAR games as they used to. So that's cool. But back then they were doing a lot of stuff for Nintendo. I think they also did they did one of the sports games. What's the one where like fucking like Luigi like grabs his crotch at the camera or whatever? You guys seen that?
Excuse me?
It's like it might be the soccer one. I think
we
they
might
did
be
one
on
sports.
different websites.
Next Level Games.
You're right.
The soccer
You're right,
games.
never mind.
Fire Strikers.
So, maybe baseball or something.
Baseball was Namco, but you're right. You're right.
Was it Namco? Right.
I'll never
Mario
forget when I
Strikers.
saw that tweet of like, did anyone know Nintendo made this game? And I definitely didn't. Yeah.
It's an absolutely great game.
But yeah, there's so Excite Truck. There's split screen, but there's no 4-player, no 3 or 4-player, and no online.
Yeah.
It's
a leading package.
It feels like a tech demo that runs okay, that it's like a complete product, but it feels like it didn't have everything it maybe ought to have.
Yeah, it's a launch game.
Yeah.
So when did I was trying to think about this, Adam, because you mentioned the lack of online. When the first online Wii game was?
That's a good question.
Mario Kart, wasn't it?
Would have been Mario Kart Wii,
Probably.
right? Which is a couple of years in, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, it was. It was quite late on.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
The Nintendo Wi-Fi connection.
Yup.
Yeah.
It's different.
Oh fucking hell!
It's
yeah.
different than the other Wi-Fi. It's different than that
Let's see.
unbranded Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I got a
Used to send the
Wi-Fi.
USB dongles.
Wi-Fi
For the Wii.
think is neat. I'm gonna go lay down in traffic. I'm sorry.
That was good.
I'm sure they did an official router as well, like for the internet connection. Like you could buy a Nintendo router to utilize.
They definitely had like
as
a little
well, like-
USB dongle for the Wii that
Yeah.
you could plug an Ethernet cable
right.
into.
Yeah.
Right.
Because they had their own proprietary internet password protocol. That's why they had to shut down like all the early online stuff, right? If I remember right, it was something like that. It was a massive security risk, if I remember right.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
why they expedited that getting shut down.
Yeah. Mario Kart Wii was 2008. Jeez, I thought it was a year earlier than that.
Yeah, I'm sure that's the first game that had proper online. I think a lot of the Wii channels had
Yeah.
Wii Connect
24,
24
yeah.
stuff and that sort of thing, but the news channel, weather channel, all that good stuff. All the soundtracks are available on Nintendo Music as well for those weird apps, which is hilarious. Very Nintendo.
They need the store
I
music.
think that was the first multiplayer.
Yeah, I didn't have
so good.
I didn't have Wi-Fi at the time, and I didn't like the TV was on the other side of the house from where the computer was, so there was no running an Ethernet cable across the house. So I just did not have a way to connect my shit to the internet at the time. So I just kind of sat there and looked at those channels and went, well, that doesn't do anything. Neat. I bet it would be cool if it did, but it's not for me.
I'm sure like the news server for like the news channel is still technically live, so the homebrew people that can connect to that channel can still view like today's news, because I think it's like RSS feeds for CNN and that sort of thing that are still technically live.
Oh yeah,
they still work.
Yeah, that's all good. Because now it's all connected because it's all soft modded and homebrewed to heck and back. And was it Michael MJD? I think on YouTube a couple of years ago ordered a pizza through the Wii browser or whatever. Just to see if it would work. I'm just like, all right, it's still functional to some degree.
Genius. It looks like we started getting Wii online games with Pokemon Battle Revolution in 2006. The end of 06.
That's a really good point. Yes. Yeah. Because that was the whole point about that game. It literally had nothing else but enabling online battles. I remember that very well because people were really pissed because they thought it was going to be like a new Pokemon Stadium or something, but it was like you played it via your DS, so you connected via the DS versions of Diamond, Pearl and Platinum to play the game on the Wii. You could use like six rental teams of Pokemon. That was all you had if you didn't have Diamond, Pearl and Platinum. So more the Pokemon company fucking
Jesus Christ.
In terms of getting money out of people. It's also, funnily enough, the only game with actual attack animations as well, and I think that's still true to this day. So,
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I love how the company that's known for prioritizing gameplay and feel and ease above all else is the same company that makes you jump through ridiculous hoops connecting a DS to Jesus Christ. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Well, I mean, look, you didn't have to worry about any of that with Excite Truck. Excite Truck was we've established with Excitebike, there's jumps and shit. What if instead of a bike it's a truck? Also, what if instead of like stadiums and arenas and things like that, you're actually like out in these like vast courses? They have one in Scotland. There's a Scotland track in the game. Yeah,
there is.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's better than Excitebike 64, where they have like city names for all the different tracks, but it's all just still like a generic dome with a bunch of dirt in it, where you'd hold like a monster truck rally like Seattle, Washington. Like, this looks like the Tacoma Dome with the lights off, dude. Like, there's nothing in here. What are you talking about?
One of them is Long Island, New York, which was a big deal for me because that's where my family was from. So I guess it's the Nassau Coliseum, but like, there's no way, like, you could not have a track as large as a track that they put in an arena in that game. Like, it does not make sense.
Yeah, I think those names are random. Again, I clicked on Seattle immediately, like, oh, what are they going to do here? Nothing. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So with Excite Truck, there's a lot more in terms of. I mean, that it's weird because the environments are like they're bland, but they're very big, and the way that they move, because you can hit these kind of like toggles on the track to terraform the land, kind of takes what would probably be a pretty boring and bland track into being really cool, because all of a sudden you're driving and you hit something and there is this gigantic ramp in front of you that you didn't see coming. And if you hit at the right time, you then launch your competitors to the moon, which is always very fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The terraforming stuff in particular, I remember actually being pretty impressed by how seamless that is, because the most appropriate comparison I can think of is like Split Second's whole like showcase set piece triggering type system, which is obviously there's a lot more going on there, so it's not quite the same thing. But I remember like the first time seeing how that terraforming mechanic working, thinking, oh, this is actually pretty original, to be fair. Like, it's not really something you've seen quite often, the ability to actually kind of augment the tracks in that way, and the competitor cars also act pretty kind of naturally to those environment changes. You could tell that they probably spent a lot of time trying to make it look as kind of ragdolly as possible, I guess, as much as you can do with big trucks. And yeah, it's just a really fun game overall. Excite Truck, like I think the scope is very rigidly defined, and obviously they blow that up when they get to bots and go crazy. But in Excite Truck, it feels like they kind of knew roughly what they were going for. I'm sure it runs at a solid 60, right? It doesn't. Oh, right. Okay, so that's my
it can't even hold a 30.
Right. Okay, so that's probably why I'm getting a bit confused then.
So this is this is something I found because I emulated the game on Dolphin, and fortunately, Excite Truck is, I think, one of the friendlier Wii games to play with a controller that wasn't designed for a normal controller. Because the original game, it was all tilt steering. There was no option for no tilt steering, but you really don't have to do that much more than steer. You can map. I mean, with Dolphin, it makes it easy to map things like moving your vehicle in the air and all of that stuff to a pad. So I just used like an Xbox Series pad for it, and it was great. That was easy, but when I was playing the game, or when I was emulating it, and I'm just like, wow, the menu's like getting hitchy in weird places, and that I think probably was the emulation. But then when it happens in race, it's like, yeah, apparently it just never really ran well, and I honestly can't remember because it's been so long since I played on it.
Misremembering.
Yeah, it's 30, but the frame pacing is really, really inconsistent, so it looks really choppy, even though it's generally holding a pretty steady 30. It just kind of looks like shit. And there's no smearing or interpolation or anything like that. But there is the post-processing effects for the like motion blur and all that stuff that they do to really heighten the sense of speed, I think does a good job of hiding a lot of that stuff around the periphery. But generally speaking, in terms of performance, it's not great. Adam, our buddy Andre from the Silent Discographer, plug, gets a horrible headache playing this game and hates it as a result.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Because just the frame pacing, just looking at it just is painful. And I think I could see that, but I can overlook it for this game. It does not bother me necessarily enough to be a deal breaker. I have a hell of a lot of fun playing Excite Truck.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I remember thinking it actually, I wasn't really sensitive like frame rate and stuff like that, and it looked fine to me. Back then, the standard for that sort of thing was lower anyway, but I thought it looked good. Like, there's just something very impressive about seeing these worlds, kind of like you were saying, Bren, like move before your eyes. It did kind of have a little bit of like the bright sort of classic arcade racer sort of vibe to it, which was beginning to fade away from the world. That was kind of its last dying light, was like 2006. So,
Yeah, it's got a little bit of that Sega heat on it.
Yeah.
That might just be the big bright blue skies and all the colors and everything. But
I remember us playing it when we were working on Sega Rally, because obviously Motorstorm came out and Excitebike came out Excite Truck came out before we shipped Sega Rally Revo. Remember we had them both in the office. Yeah, it was cool.
Man.
Yeah.
Both, slightly different. It's interesting because Motorstorm, I think, had tilt controls as an option. Obviously, because Sega,
at least the first one did.
Because Sony were pushing the 6-axis at the time because they couldn't get the dual shot license, could they, or whatever. So, but yeah, whereas Excite Truck was mandatory tilt controls, which I never liked, to be honest. It was always too vague for me. But
yeah, no, they're not great.
Huh.
Yeah.
I remember, I guess because you're forced to, right? You don't have a choice. So like as a kid, I was able to just deal with it. But I do think I'm a lot better at the game now with just a regular controller than I would have been at the time.
Yeah.
The only problem with using a normal controller is that the waggle that you have to do, the spin in the air, does not work very well when you're just going left, right on analog stick.
Oof.
It doesn't
didn't work great with tilt either, playing it recently, to be honest.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be receptive. But I guess it was just always like that. The tracks themselves, it's interesting how like the lengths of them, like of a lap, can be so variable. Like some are really short and then some are like feel like they're 2 minutes. I don't know if they actually are or not, but they're pretty big. Andrew, I wrote down, I described the music in this game as, it's a great day for baseball.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention, like the very first thing that I did was muted the music in this and put a podcast on. The same thing for bots as well. It's the same kind of, no offense to whoever's responsible, but it's a lot of generic butt rock. It sounds like library music or something.
Well, that's why you put your own personal soundtrack on via
no.
the SD card support, which also
that's
has
right.
all the cool mixing effects that would be applied to the standard soundtrack too. So you get full support for all those like effects on top of the soundtrack that you utilize. So I can see young Brend playing Excite Truck, listening to All American Rejects. As embarrassing as that
No, that's the
sounds.
music this game should have had. Like, that would make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
I was listening to Flashback 64, I think not that long ago, had the 1080 episode, and I was listening to that one, and
Work your body, work your body.
yeah, somebody was pointing out how Avalanche had went to the licensed soundtracks, but as I think I said probably a year ago at this point when we did the snowboarding episode, I fucking love the soundtrack in that game. So I want to hear stupid pop punk when I'm playing.
I love that I do a music podcast with the world's #1 Finger 11 fan.
Hey, that's one of the first CDs I ever had was that Finger 11 CD. Oh my god.
It's amazing.
Oh, I love that album. I mean, it's
What a nightmare.
It's not something I want to admit, but I love it. Yeah, that's cool that they had all those effects, especially because this was a time when, like, I mean, SSX did all those really wild things with the soundtrack when you're in the air and stuff. So, yeah.
Burnout Paradise famously would have those really heavy filters
Yeah.
for the EQ when you were exploding or going up in the air or whatever.
Mm.
I like the terrain deformation a lot in this game. I know that we talked about it a little bit, but it reminds me of what I always think of is in Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver, when you transition from like not
past
Light
and
World,
future,
Dark World, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
There, I know Amy Hennig famously solved that problem by just being like, well, why don't you guys just like move the vertices around of the level geometry to kind of make it look warped and kind of off, and it's like a altered reflection of itself for the other world there. And you can kind of see the similar thing happening here when you hit those buttons to launch the ground up into a giant ramp or whatever, or vice versa. You can kind of see sort of where the like terrain mesh moves up and down, and just the way that everything responds to it is really, really, I mean, like you said, it's really smooth and silky and fluid and funny.
It's very funny.
It works with the game is difficult to control already anyway, just because motion controls are bad. But that all just kind of adds to this feeling of it being wildly out of control at all times, and you're just kind of sort of trying to barely keep this thing on track, in scare quotes there, or getting a power star and doing a 5-star tree run or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I love that
Tree run.
when you drive through a lot of trees in this game but you don't hit them, it's called a tree run, which is just they thought about that name not very long.
No meetings were involved in that name.
The terrain deformation, what I'm thinking, so to me, what it reminds me of is when you're doing the terraforming in like the Mod Nation Racers editor. Like that's kind of the way it strikes me. Also, because like the tracks in this game, the environments kind of feel a little bit Mod Nation Racers-y. And yeah, it's just funny how quickly they happen. And also, like, it's not like a minor thing. Like, if you haven't seen this game or played it before, like, it's not like, oh, there's like a little bit of a ramp there, it wasn't before. It's like, this was flat ground, and now there is a mountain in front of me, and it's not that far in front of me. Like, it's happening now. I'm driving through it now.
It is rising up into the air as you are ascending it. Yeah.
So it's pretty
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was playing it recently, I was like, it's kind of like the Quake Disruptor and Wipeout, but obviously the track flattens again after that.
Yeah.
True.
But that was always really impressive to me, how you just see it rippling ahead in front
That's
of you.
still impressive to me, yeah.
It's still really cool that it does that, yeah. Whereas it's pretty cool tech.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's
Yes.
that's about everything I have to say about Excite Truck. I like this game. It's a good game. And I didn't play its sequel, so
yeah, what if it was weirder?
What if it was better? What'd you say?
Very
I said, what if it was weirder?
Weirder? It looks fucking weird. I did watch
weirder.
footage of Excitebikes.
Much
and
weirder.
It's weird.
It's fucking weird.
Yeah, let's dig into Excitebots for a moment here, because that did
Where
not.
do you start though?
Unfortunately, did not release in Europe. it does sport the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection badge right up there at the top. So that's something.
I have one comment real quick, is that I love just the random bits that like end up on Wikipedia. Nintendo Australia's managing director, Rose Lappin, has said that Excitebots will not be seeing an Australian release, quote, due to lack of interest. Specifically
Take
in
that,
Australia.
Australia.
They did not want Excitebots.
There's two things they don't know anything about in Australia. It's trucks and bugs. Famously, yeah. No utes, no giant spiders, none of that.
Most important question: does it have SD card support for music?
That's a good question. I don't actually know.
I've never been able to test that because obviously I didn't get to play it at the time. So I had to get a hacked Wii a lot later down the line and didn't even try because I didn't have any SD cards in my house at that point. So I really hope it does though, because it's got everything else, and I mean everything fucking else. You've got bowling, poker, darts.
While you're driving,
all in the middle of the race. While you're driving, you've got some of the coolest like card designs I think I've ever seen in a game. Like in terms of just like the weird level of transformation these things have mid-race.
They look like Bionicles.
Kinda, yeah. So
I could see actually.
You're driving robot bugs and like frogs and other creatures that are cars that can also transform into a bipedal walking form, which is somehow faster. It's very, very strange.
They're just so different though to the generic trucks. That's the thing for me. It's like when they land, they have all very specific animations. So the frog literally falls back on its hind legs to push it off and maintain speed.
Yeah, they're very personalized.
Yeah, the Dune bug can grab onto poles that are located throughout the track so that you can spin round the pole very fast and get a massive speed boost. Like, there's a weird level of depth in here
just
that
go flying and explode most of the time that you do that.
Yep.
Speaking
I love
for
this
friends.
game, man.
It's so weird that the others are reasonably grounded in reality, right? You go truck racing in deserts, you go motocross racing and in stadiums and stuff, and that's got robots.
Yeah, then you've got trucks throwing into the sky, and then now it's robot time. And like Brent said, it's you'll be picking up little like tokens on the track, kind of like a Mario Kart attack item. There are things like that as well, but there are also things in here that are just like if you in Daytona USA, you can hit start as you in the first track as you pass under the giant spinning rotating wheel thingy.
Yeah. Roulette wheel.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's
the
fourth gear, right? To do the triple eight,
what am I thinking of? The slot machine. Yeah. Spinning
reels. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What are words? Anyway, it's kind of like that, except it's
the whole
instead
game.
of but like as you drive, it'll just be like, oh, here's now suddenly your bot is holding a gigantic dart, and you need to like throw it at this huge target thing that just like falls out of the wall and sticks out somewhere, and you want to like try and hit it as you're taking the corner, or like drive through a bunch of bowling pins, or throw a pie at a giant scary clown face. They're just giving you weird like genericized versions of like WarioWare micro games while you're already racing a thing that's very, very chaotic and difficult to control in a way that is similar to Excite Truck, but maybe even squirrelier here. And there are the times where you can transform into the bot mode on certain parts of the track, where then you are walking upright and bipedal, and you have to rock the Wiimote back and forth in rhythm to keep left and right like foot going in a pattern. And the faster or like the more consistent you keep the rhythm, the faster the feet will go. But also, it's still trying to steer while you're doing that. Ugh. So you're like steering left and right as you're tilting it back and forth. It's broken. I don't know how this like passed any manner of playtesting or anything else. It feels impossible, but it's there for whatever reason.
That's exactly why I didn't try to play it with an Xbox Series controller.
I bet that.
I don't think that would be possible. That would be impressive. But like, it feels like the whole game's concept is based around, funnily enough, you guys mentioned about like Tree Run, for example, in the original game. It's as if they looked at the daft names for some of the stuff you could do in that game that was relatively normal and just went, well, what if we expand that out so there's things like get the hot dog and you get 10 stars for getting the hot dog whatever that means. And then like some jumps, there'll be like a random butterfly that's there, and if you touch the butterfly, then you get butterfly rescue. And you get 5 stars, and the butterfly lets you fly across the track for a little bit.
Yeah, and you float down, save a few more butterflies in your way.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
It's a real kitchen sink
the
video
poker
game.
one is
They did not
so
say no
funny,
to any idea at all in here, and I really kind of respect that.
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful. And I should apologize because they Monster didn't do any of the sports games for Nintendo. That was a mistake. What they did do were a couple of the Donkey Kong Country games on 3DS, Wii U. And then
they did the ports from Retro.
Yeah, and otherwise it's mostly NASCAR games. So I feel like when you look at their output, they're like, yeah, okay, this is our chance to do something really fucking wild. Nobody's gonna stop us. Nintendo's not gonna be like, Donkey Kong doesn't do that. He doesn't get the hot dog. Stop! Don't make him get the hot dog. So they just went all out, and yeah, I can respect that too. And of course, now I want to play the game because I got the sense it was a little weird, but I didn't know it was that out there.
Yeah, I know people have
really
like
weird.
the 3 people that have played this game all love it and will champion it anytime it's brought up in conversation. If you talk about Excitebots on the internet, you will eventually find someone who will come out of the woodwork to be like, hell yeah, Excitebots. Just because it's a game that was not pushed or marketed or
released.
basically, just gigantic markets globally, just ignored entirely.
When did it come out? I feel it was late, right? It was a late
2009
game.
in
Yeah,
North
it was,
America and 2011 in Japan. And that was it. It never hit Europe.
And it was a My Nintendo release as well, I'm sure, for Japan. I don't think it was a wide full release. I'm sure you had to redeem points to get it or something.
They did have a lot of those, didn't they?
Yeah.
A few
I'm
DS
sure this
games
is
like
one of them.
that were like the weird Club Nintendo thing.
I can kind of see the scenario though, like Miyamoto's walked into a room and Monster have shown him the sequel to Excite Truck, and he's been asked to catch a fish while drifting in water and
He'd
in
love
the
that.
middle of a race, and it's just like what he's known for is very complex game mechanics that sort of work in a sort of way. I mean, he's not a guy who prioritizes polish or simplicity at all.
No,
so I imagine that was right up his alley.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he was probably thinking he knew the Wii U was coming, right? And he was like, "Well, they ain't seen nothing yet. We're already set, and they're going to release this fucking weird console."
Oh my god! There should have been like a
Blow their mind.
that involved.
Wii U Excitebots.
There should have been a mode that involved like the balance board and all sorts of other things.
I actually
I can
almost
see it.
have expected it to use Wii Motion Plus, but I don't think that was out till 2010. Probably could have benefited from it with the walking motion because it's just
it's something.
Motion Plus.
It's useless. It's inscrutable.
And that's
I sound like I'm exaggerating. It's almost literally non-functional. I don't know how to like communicate how like impossibly slippery and confused it feels. Like basically, if your robot hits bipedal mode, there's a 50-50 chance that. Okay, I'll speak for myself. If my robot hits bipedal mode, my robots are always hitting bipedal mode. You know how it is, but there's a 50-50 chance at that point I'm careening off the track and exploding off a cliff or something.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I'll never know unless they re-release it and I can like play it on the Switch or something. But
it really is interesting that it's never had a re-release, just purely because it is one of those strange titles that I could imagine re-emerging.
it feels like
point.
something that should have just been like tossed out there within like the Switch's like first 2 years as like a re-release.
Totally.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like 64, they put out with almost everything intact. I think Fox Racing was maybe the
One
only brand
brand,
that they had to remove. All the other ones are still in there,
Yeah,
so I don't know what kind of
yeah.
licensing deals they brokered, but
Yeah.
they didn't seem like that's the only one out of this series that has any kind of like licensed real world material in there. So that's the only one that I could see really being an issue, and that's available.
Yeah.
It's on the NSO thing at the moment. So I don't know what's up with the others aside from, again, if they just maybe they're looking at it as a thing that just does not have a lot of interest around it. Maybe it's still just like, why would we bring back a game that we didn't even bother selling to our like biggest racing game markets?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
the biggest markets for his stuff. I remember when it came out, just hearing those who review them play it, being like, "Yeah, it's interesting, it's good," and just thinking like, "This is not it. Nobody's gonna play this thing."
It's the exact type of game now that would build up a cult following because it's so strange. But I think at that time period, where there was still a hyper focus on realistic gaming and what boundaries could be pushed, this is like the opposite of that. In every
Is this?
I mean, they were pushing boundaries, but not the ones that people were interested in.
Would the modern Nintendo equivalent to this be that like weird Drag X Drive game, or is that worse than this?
Oh my god.
But that's like
worse.
it's like a tech demo, like just like zero effort.
That's a snipper clip.
There's sort of gameplay here.
Snipper clips is cool.
Every now and then,
That's a Mario 128 demo.
every now and then, Nintendo will throw out something. It's like, wow, all right, I didn't see that one coming. In terms of
pulled out from an alternate universe space world.
Yeah. Every couple of years we get like a peek of like what Nintendo would have put in a tech demo at Space World if Space World was still a thing. And there you go.
Yeah,
and this year,
I think that's the thing that's annoying.
They did two, right? They did Drag X Drive and Kirby Air Riders, which is not a tech demo. I mean, that's the amount of content in that game is insane.
That's just Sakurai's love letter to gaming. So it's like he's just going off on one, and I think that's like, give me that any day over like something like Drag X Drive, which Nintendo will do far too often, where it's just like somebody somewhere had an idea, they spent an afternoon developing it, and then they just send it out into the ether with like zero actual gameplay or modes or anything like that. It's so frustrating when you see that sort of thing, and that's why Excitebots is more of like somebody did have some form of vision here. They were probably on crack when they had it, but it's like it's definitely its own thing, and I'd like recommend playing it for that alone. But it is funny how hard it is to actually play properly, just based on all the constraints we've talked about.
Yeah. The Air Riders thing is just hilarious because I love from like the very start.
Yeah.
Like in that reveal. Well, not the reveal, but the direct. Yeah, and Sakurai was just like, yeah, people kept asking me to make this game, so finally made.
But is it similar? Why would we make it when America exists? And he's like, wow.
Well, he's like, I also feel this way, but apparently other people at Nintendo seem to think that there's a difference. So here we are. He's a treasure.
There's two buttons now.
I assume the truth is really they want him to do the Smash Brothers, and he's like, fine, but we get to make this first. We get to do whatever we want first. Right. Yeah. That's that's what actually is happening, I assume. Nintendo turned up to make Kirby Air Riders. Fuck off, did they?
Yeah. I really do want to play that game because it seems insane, and I don't have a Switch too, so.
The demo was mental last weekend. I played it. It's
one day.
Unreal. It's just chaos.
Well, there is actually one more Excitebike game. Did anyone?
I was wondering if you're going to talk about it.
Did anyone ever play Excitebike World Rally, which was a WiiWare title? Looks like.
No.
I was going to, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
It's really good, actually. It's really, really good. This is my favourite of those 2D style Excitebike games, by far. Monster did an incredibly good job. Like, even if you guys watch gameplay and stuff of it, you'll see just how smooth it looks, and it's genuinely an absolute diamond in the rough, this one. I'd go as far to say it's probably my second favourite Excite game behind Excitebots. Now, Truck just behind it. It's just a really well polished version of like that gameplay loop, and the online multiplayer at the time was great fun as well. It was surprisingly decent.
Oh, this looks adorable.
Yeah, it's very, very good.
I can't believe I missed this. This looks awesome.
Yeah, I'm watching footage of it now.
It really is just Excitebike again, so I can't say too much about it in terms of explaining why it's good, but it's like they've expanded it out to add like obviously a lot more kind of maps and that sort of thing, and there's some nice kind of objective hunting stuff in there, but the online multiplayer I remember playing when it first came out as well was surprisingly decent. It's a nice little game, much in the vein of like Burnout Crash and weird.
Yeah, like those like pixel junk things. Yeah,
like pixel junk as well. Yeah, like it was very much one of those sort of titles where it was good to kind of play in between.
Joe Danger.
I always hate using
Joe Danger.
Joe Danger, yeah, good shout. yeah, basically very similar to that actually.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's a really good one. I think you should be able to emulate it pretty easily though. I imagine,
Yeah.
even though WiiWare is
Oh,
dead
yeah,
now.
probably.
So,
I mean, all that stuff is
yeah.
out there.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
This looks
They should-
It's worth it. It's worth
this
it.
looks pretty. This looks like it'd be pretty beefy to run. Especially the effects on the nice landing, that fire and that like cartoon like blam sort of the texture there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if the Saturn can handle that alpha button.
It can't
Anything
handle
after that
any.
should be fine, but
This is one of these ones that probably should have got like a re-release on the 3DS or something
Yeah,
like
totally.
that. Because
Yeah.
it's no licensing, no anything here, and it's cute's a good way of describing it. I would say adorable because it's just like taking a lot of the environments as well from Excite Truck and stuff and creating levels around that. But in the old Excitebike vein, it almost feels like a nice way to, as stands, cap off the series in a way. It's no Excitebox madness in it though, but it's good. It's
no,
good.
not quite.
Yeah. And that was, what year was that? 2009? Was that
Nine?
so? That was the same year
Yeah,
then.
2009.
And that one actually was released around the world.
Yep.
2010 in PAL regions. And that's it. That's the end of the Excite
Yeah.
extended universe Excite
The end of
franchise.
the excitement.
Excitement.
Actually, there is one other one,
Oh, yeah.
which is the
I
Mario
was
Kart
gonna
track.
say. That's how I was gonna say.
Oh,
the Mario Kart
Mario
track.
Kart
It's a track in the
as well.
game.
That-
I actually
completely forgot about that.
I forgot about that. Which one is that in?
8.
That's an 8. It was a DLC track, and it has a fully customizable track layout in line with Excitebike itself. So it will randomly generate certain sections of the oval based on the old
I remember this.
components of the track.
I completely forgot.
cool.
I have
Yeah.
driven this in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
Nice remix of the theme song as well.
That's always like, it doesn't it suck though? That's like the final form of every Nintendo racing franchise is it's a track in Mario Kart.
Yeah.
the best F-Zero content is in Mario Kart 8.
They
as well.
won't even dignify Wave Race with that treatment either, which is also
Yeah,
annoying.
that's weird. That is strange, especially in Mario Kart World, like because they've got
It's so
bolts
sad.
and stuff. Like
We got F-Zero 99.
I don't care.
That's,
we did get that.
Does-
Actually.
it does have the.
Everyone was like so excited about that game. I was like, I don't fucking care, man.
I don't think any of the 99 games outside of Tetris, which is still going very
Yeah.
strong, did very well because I was absolutely elite at Pac-Man 99, but like 4 people played
Damn.
it, so it wasn't too hard to win.
Tetris 99 is
Tetris
amazing.
99 is
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's absolutely baller. Yeah, it's good.
What's Rainbow Studios up to? Yeah, they're still out there making MX versus ATVs. Just put them on a put them on a wave race. They made those
Mhm.
splashdowns.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Switch 2 has a weird feel about it. I could see something like that happening. Like, I don't know. I think this would be the right time for something like that.
Yeah,
Who knows?
I feel like there's just been a lot of weird wave race talk in the air lately. Like we're trying to collectively manifest something into existence. I don't know.
I feel like
That'd be nice.
people are
So
finally starting to remember. I mean, outside of people like us, are finally starting to remember that game happened and that was very good.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been playing a lot recently, and it obviously now I'll be playing it again, hopefully even more soon next on the 3D. It's so good. It has a bad frame rate, but it's so good. There's nothing else was ever done in physics that feel give you that feeling, that emotion of waves. It's so
We
good.
had done years ago, had Jason on, and we did like a Wave Race Jet Moto episode. But Paul, your love for Wave Race makes me think we should revisit it. But also, I've never played the GameCube one, and
So GameCube one's
Oh,
good.
really?
That out, yeah.
It doesn't have the. It sounds ridiculous to say, but it doesn't have the soul of Wave Race. It doesn't. It's
Yeah.
lost a little bit of its magic in some ways, but it's still really good.
It's
And I assume hopefully that will
Probably
come out
better
on Switch
video
2
game,
at some
though.
point, right? So
hopefully. I said it might be a better video game though.
it's a better video game in some ways. Yeah, it is. And there's got more interesting stuff for track layouts. The track layouts change quite a lot during the weather. Like you get
Yeah.
the levels of the water, the levels go up and down. It creates new routes, which you got a couple of times happen in 64, but this happens all the time in Blue
I
Storm.
think that was also an NST joint,
Um,
like Avalanche. So, yeah.
that's right.
Yes.
It's a cool game.
Yeah.
It's good. And surely there's a chance of it coming back, right?
Probably.
Surely. I think you're right. Did someone mention it? A Nintendo interview or something? Who worked on it and said that they still really, I don't know, it might have been bullshit, that they still really love it or something. And you see the same thing about Ridge Racer and Namco guys going, "Oh yeah, it's cool." It's like, that's never happened.
I don't know.
We got Ridge Racer. I knew Ridge Racer did come out this year, though, right?
Kind
So,
of.
we should not talk
In a
about
way.
A lot of racing games have come out this year, actually, interestingly.
Yeah, in a way.
So, I think that just about does it, right? That's exciting.
It's exciting. So, do we think the sort of favorite is Truck collectively, apart from Bren with bots?
Definitely my favorite.
Are we
Truck.
feeling?
Yeah.
I still have a soft spot for the original. It's cool, but Truck is cool.
I want to play Versus just because that logo is rad. It's just like a really cool looking logo, box, everything.
We should try it at a terrible frame rate one day. Stream it.
That'd be good. Yeah, I don't know. I like bots a lot. I think it's worth checking out if you can. At least it is abject chaos. Great if you have kids, particularly. Otherwise, it is just an exercise in seeing how many chainsaws you can juggle at once, basically.
That's actually a great question.
While driving.
Andrew, because you played this with your kids, and what did they think?
They were having a blast. I mean, we'd also just been playing a bunch of Tank from Namco on the Wii U.
Nice.
So I think you're kind of just in that brain space of just like loud, exploding, colorful nonsense anyway. Both Truck and bots were a big hit. The NES game was fine. It's like, yeah, this is fine. It's like, yeah, that's correct.
Does anyone not have that reaction
fine.
to that game?
Again, I like it. I do have
There's going to be someone who's going to be like,
for it, but
Excitebike is my favorite game ever, and we're going to have the answer for that. There's always someone.
Sure.
And if that's you, then I don't know. Find us right into a podcast somehow. That's all I got.
Join the Discord.
All right.
You can annoy Adam with it.
I think we're done.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, mate, what a comeback.
Yeah.